Thanks for joining us again in Studio 6A. I'm Ezeji from Pflugerville High School.
And I'm Ronald Elliott. In this next half hour, we're going to wrap up our discussion about special needs students. It is a group that often must overcome unique hurdles in order to take part in everyday activities. One particular school in Austin is helping students who are blind and visually impaired to not only graduate, but to be independent in a world they cannot see.
Ever since I was 6, I've been blind. Yeah, so it's kind of easier for me now. I'm already used to it. But then for other people who becomes blind, like later, it's kind of always harder for them to adapt.
We're on the campus of the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Austin, Texas, where we have sat since 1916. It's K-12, and we also have a post-secondary program for kids who have finished all their high school requirements but are still not quite ready to go live and work independently in the community. Our kids work in the same curriculum that students do in any other school in Texas, but we also concentrate very heavily for what's called the expanded core curriculum, and that comprises all of the special skills that blind kids need to have to function independently and to succeed in schools.
We also have like something called ONM, which is like orientation and mobility, which is like a class that we learn how to use our canes and that's
travel on buses
traveling, and you can go by yourself. So I take the skills that I learned here in mobility and I apply them to my actual living skills, and that was helpful when I did my own traveling during the summer.
I think that many people can't quite envision how blind people, the level of independence and the level of capability that they have. People are just constantly amazed to see what our students do.
We do teach some hard skills like, have you been working in the coffee shop yet?
Yes.
We have a pretty intense coffee maker in there. It's not just the little, on your countertop, it's for real. You get to communicate that it's okay if you're in the kitchen and you get hurt. That happens to everybody. It's not just because you can't see where something was.
Some students just lost their vision like a year ago, and so they're just beginning to experience how it's like to be blind. So it's really nice to be there for those other students, and you can still do whatever you want to do. I want to be a human rights lawyer.
I hope our school lets students know that just because you have a visual impairment or just because you can't see does not mean you're less worthwhile, or you're just like everybody else, you just don't see great.
Yes.
And that's cool because you guys can do all kinds of things, probably not be bus drivers, but you can do all kinds of things and it still makes you very, very, very worthwhile and priceless.
They do fantastic work there, but no school is complete without an athletic department, and the Texas School for the Blind and Visually Impaired is no different. On top of familiar sports like swimming and wrestling, students can participate in goalball. All participants need is a blindfold, good hearing, and probably some hip pads. To play, you roll a basketball-sized ball with a bell inside of it. A giant low soccer goal is your target.
They're basically throwing their body across the court on the ground, trying to stop this ball. It's a very physical sport.
Champions are often those who lead by example, inspiring others to graduate or rise to their full potential. And sometimes it means helping other people become champions themselves. That's the story with our next champion, Mrs. Mitchell.
My champion is Miss Mitchell, and I've gotten to be in the PAL program that she's in charge of for the last 2 years, which is where we go to elementary schools and we get to mentor students there. And I love getting to be in her class and hearing the stories that she has about her life and different things that she's learned. She's always really real with us, and I love that about her. And she always pushes us to be kind to one another and to be kind to the people around us, and I think that's a really important thing to do, and she does a really great job of that, so I'm thankful for that. I love how I can talk to her about anything, and she's really honest and she gives her opinion and she doesn't hold back at all, and so I think that's really cool, and she's a really genuine person, so I'm really thankful for that.
That's it for Ronald and I today.
But it's not the end of American Graduate Day. Our Pflugerville High School classmates, Cameron O'Neill and Milani Cruz, will be up next to discuss keeping students engaged, STEAM learning, and life after high school. We've had a blast spending our Saturday with you.
Thanks for joining us.